My name is Kiati. I'm head of Joshi Advocates. Thank you very much for joining us in this video. COVID-19 and home office concessions in respect of family visa applications or spouse visa applications in country and entry clearance. So this video has been supported by Nurhaga, who has brought this to our attention. So let's see. What is the Home Office position in respect of COVID-19 and income loss for any spouse visa applications? So in the next 5 minutes, we will look at the financial requirement, maintenance requirement, and the Home Office concession policy. It's not really the concession policy, it is the policy, which I've linked in the description box below. The page to note is 69 of 69. So let's see. Normally, for a spouse visa application, as you would know, there are 5 major requirements. 1, ID. 2, relationship documents, marriage certificate, money transfer receipts, communication record, photographs. 3, financial requirement. The sponsor must be earning 18,600 gross per annum before tax. Now, we're going to come back to that bit. And maintenance requirement. The sponsor must be able to accommodate and maintain the applicant overseas without recourse to public funds in the UK. And 5, English language test and tuberculosis test certificate. Moving on then, the Home Office policy, page 69 of 69, link below, is saying that because of COVID-19, from March 2020 until August 2020, so far, that's the relevant period, if there's an income loss for employed sponsor or self-employed sponsor in that relevant period. And income loss is, for instance, if the sponsor employed is furloughed, Home Office saying that 80% furloughed income would not be adversely affecting the application. They would consider it as 100% income. So that's one good news. Another bit is Home Office saying that if also there is more financial loss, they would look at the 6 months before March 2020 earnings. And same goes for the self-employed people. So 6 months before March 2020, my calculation is September 2019 until February 2020, say pay slips, letter from employer, bank statements, to show that the sponsor was earning that income. But for COVID-19, it isn't the same. So Home Office will still allow the applicant for spouse visa to meet the financial requirement. Same goes for self-employed. The glitch here for self-employed people is that the self-employment period is April to April. And if the Home Office is saying the relevant period is March 2020 to August 2020, the self-employment tax year comes in the middle at April 2020. But Home Office saying that don't consider the application being adversely affected if you could say that for the previous tax year, 18-19, you met the requirement, and for the tax year 19-20, which is April 19 to April 20, you met the income requirement, but there was a loss for that 1 month between March 2020 and April 2020. Also, you could show that for 6 months before, as a self-employed person, you still met the requirement. So that is, say, September 2019, also until February 2020, the income was consistent even as a self-employed person. Now, that is one way around the financial requirement because of COVID-19. Say that Home Office accepts that and you come around the financial requirement moving forward to maintenance. So say someone did have an income loss, what would they do? The sponsor would resort to public funds, and the maintenance requirement says sponsor must not recourse to public funds. The policy I'm referring to, the link below, still says that public funds such as universal credit is not acceptable. So the sponsor may have an uphill struggle to say, look, I'm relying on universal credit to bridge that gap for my income loss in order to meet the maintenance requirement. So such as housing benefit. I think that all falls part of universal credit now. Whether the Home Office would allow the sponsor to meet the maintenance requirement is a risky position. It has not been made clear by the policy, link below. Now, say the Home Office does think that, okay, logically, if the person has faced income loss but has met any financial requirement, as a result of income loss, they have also resorted to public funds for a short period and then have come back on now, maybe they would go forward and allow the application as successful. Now, the tricky bit here is the bit in the policy about COVID-19 is under the heading of exceptional circumstances. So I think it's human rights. So even if a spouse application were to be successful on financial and maintenance grounds, both, it is most likely that the Home Office would give the visa on a 10-year route to settlement. So that would mean the spouse visa is not on a 5-year route, it could possibly on the 10-year route. That is just a conjecture here based on the COVID-19. Keep in mind this policy is going to be interpreted on case-by-case basis. So it's based on caseworker that you get on your application makes decision on the application and when what they think that would be suitable and appropriate. So nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. It's just going to be on case-by-case basis. And now, finally, on fee waivers, Home Office is now leaning towards granting fee waivers, provided that possibly paying the fee would make the family applicants, main applicant and children dependent, destitute, of course supported by documentary evidence such as bank account statements. Now I'll leave you with that. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for joining. As always, contact details below, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Take care.